It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Between the misty streets of London and the blood-stained squares of Paris lies not only the story of two cities, but the eternal struggle between darkness and light within the human soul. Written in 1859 by Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities tells of love, sacrifice, and the search for justice under the shadow of the French Revolution. Published in 1859, A Tale of Two Cities became one of Charles Dickens's most widely read works. The novel is not merely the story of London and Paris, it is the eternal struggle between darkness and light within the human soul. Dickens chose the bloody years of the French Revolution as his backdrop. The storming of the Bastille, the Reign of Terror, and the guillotine squares shaped the dramatic atmosphere of the novel, while love and sacrifice rose as light from within this historical darkness. Its opening line has become immortal in literary history. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. 1775. In London, misty mornings, heavy doors, and institutions symbolized order and stability. Tellson's Bank and Westminster's stone walls reflected England's law and security. Yet Paris painted a different picture. Bread prices soared, hunger spread, and aristocrats danced in lavish halls while children starved in the streets. The Bastille prison stood as a symbol of tyranny. Here, Dr. Alexander Manette had been imprisoned for 18 years, surviving by making shoes. His fate revealed the destructive power of arbitrary rule. One day, young Lucy Manette learned her father was alive. With Jarvis Lorry, she traveled to Paris and found him. Broken and weary, Dr. Manette seemed lost to the world. Yet Lucy's love and compassion brought him back to life. This reunion lit the central flame of the novel. Even in darkness, love can restore the human spirit. Away from Paris's despair, London offered relative stability. Dickens emphasized this contrast. London became the stage of hope and rebirth. Lucy's devotion restored her father's spirit. Charles Darnay, rejecting his cruel Evermond heritage, sought justice and humanity. Beside him stood Sidney Carton, a hopeless lawyer drowning in drink, secretly in love with Lucy. His inner conflict foreshadowed the sacrifice to come. Paris in the 1780s was a city of hunger and despair. Bread shortages and the famine of 1788 ignited revolutionary anger. The Evermond family embodied aristocratic cruelty. Madame Defarge, knitting names into her register, symbolized vengeance. Whispers of justice spread through the streets. Justice will come. These murmurs heralded the storm of 1789. July 14, 1789. The people stormed the Bastille. After hours of struggle, the fortress fell. This moment marked the birth of the French Revolution. Dr. Manette, once a prisoner, now stood respected among revolutionaries. Yet Charles Darnay, bound by aristocratic roots, was arrested. Lucy fought desperately to save her husband, but the tribunals of Paris dispensed justice under the shadow of rage. 1793. The revolution descended into blood and fear. Robespierre and the Jacobins sent thousands to the guillotine. The Place de la Revolution became a daily stage of death. Charles Darnay was condemned, betrayed by Dr. Manette's old letter. Madame Defarge's vengeance extended beyond aristocrats to Lucy and her child. Lucy stood helpless, while Dr. Manette's influence could no longer save Darnay. Sidney Carton, a lost soul at the beginning, fulfilled his destiny with ultimate sacrifice. Using his resemblance to Darnay, he took his place and walked calmly to the guillotine. His final words became immortal. "It is a far, far better thing that I do, than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to, than I have ever known." Carton's death saved Lucy and her family, but more than that, it symbolized hope shining even in humanity's darkest hours. A Tale of Two Cities is not only the story of London and Paris, but of the eternal struggle between darkness and light within the human soul. The French Revolution began with a cry for justice but descended into terror. Dickens intertwined this historical truth with personal sacrifice. Sidney Carton's death became the embodiment of humanity's highest values. London was portrayed as order and hope, Paris as chaos and rage. Dickens's message remains timeless. Even in the darkest times, love and sacrifice are humanity's guiding light.